Have you noticed how unusually hot it's been this year? It's not just your imagination. According to the latest report from WMO, there's an 80% chance in the next 5 years we'll break the record for high temperatures again. In other words, it might get even hotter. Some airport runways are cracking from the heat. Even the Statue of Liberty has shifted 20 centimeters due to the heat. And in the Arctic, the global warming rate is 3.5 times that of Earth's average. But when we worry about Earth turning into Venus 2.0, an even more mind-blowing scientific fact is we are actually living in an ice age, a long, drawn-out ice age, in a relatively warm interglacial phase. So, when will the next ice age come? Want to know the answer? Then we have to throw you back to Earth 1 million years ago to experience the climate pulse of the planet and try to find the answers. Here you will witness something truly magnificent, a period of crucial significance. He shaped the future of life on Earth, leaving behind the most thrilling traces. He is the last ice age. This exploration will let you experience firsthand the extreme environments that Earth's life can endure. Over 10,000 years ago, many of our planet's ecosystems have been reshaped by massive ice sheets, reshaped by bone-chilling polar winds, reshaped by the desolate landscape. This is a frigid ice age. The cold endured for thousands of years. With the end of this period, many iconic species mysteriously vanished. Its cause still haunts us to this day. What you are experiencing now, this ain't the first ice age Earth's seen. Actually, Earth's been through a total of 5. So what do they all have in common? The so-called Ice Age. It's a long period of harsh cold on Earth, usually lasting for millions of years, sometimes even tens of millions of years. This results in massive ice sheets covering the Earth's surface, glacial coverage, what we often refer to as the last Ice Age. It all began around 2.6 million years ago, right at the beginning of the Pleistocene epoch. You might be surprised. We're still in it to this day. Any ice age consists of 2 periods: the cold glacial period and the warm interglacial period. In fact, the one we are in right now is the latest interglacial period. It has lasted for 11,000 years. So, when folks talk about the last ice age, they often mean the Mos Eisley period. It was just before the Janbean period we're in now, starting around 115,000 years ago and lasting until 11,700 years ago. Another fact that might surprise you: during the Mos Eisley period, the global average temperature was only 6 degrees cooler than today. Yet even just a single-digit difference has far-reaching impacts on global temperature changes. When we talk about global cooling by 6 degrees, we're talking about massive heat loss from all the oceans, land, and the atmosphere. During the last ice age, most of Europe and North America were dominated by 2 major ice caps: the Laurentide ice cap and the Fenno-Scandinavian ice cap. Earth's limited water was trapped, locked within these ice caps, so the average sea level is much lower. The land is mainly dominated by taiga vegetation, found on dry grasslands. No single factor can explain why the Earth has plunged into such a deep freeze. But by observing the Earth's orbit at that time, many questions can be easily answered. Last century, Serbian scientist Milan Kovacs, he proposed a hypothesis: the long-term changes in Earth position. It's a powerful driver of climate. This explains how ice ages are triggered. Milankovitch studied 3 types of movements: These movements alter the amount of solar radiation. That's the famous Milankovitch cycle. Orbital eccentricity. When Earth experiences stronger gravitational pull, gravitational forces from Jupiter and Saturn, its orbit becomes more elliptical. This cycle lasts about 100,000 years. When the orbit is at a high elliptical height, the length of Earth's seasons changes the most. Summer is longer than winter. A highly elliptical orbit means Earth is at aphelion in July, farthest from the Sun. The solar radiation is about 23% less than in January. As a result, winter is warmer and shorter. Summer is cooler and longer. Tilt of the Earth's axis. The degree of tilt of Earth's rotation axis. The more the Earth tilts, the more extreme the seasonal changes. This cycle takes about 41,000 years. So when Earth's tilt is less, the seasonal differences will be very mild, preventing the summer from melting the ice in the east. Snow and ice could accumulate, eventually leading to the Ice Age. The axis wobbles. The wobble of the Earth's axis. Due to the gravitational pull of the Sun and Moon, the Earth's equator will slightly bulge outwards. It's not a perfect sphere. This causes a wobble when the Earth's axis rotates. This cycle lasts about 26,000 years. It will change the contrast of the seasons, making the contrast of the seasons more extreme or less extreme. The combination of these three cycles, it's all about shaping the Earth's long-term climate. They're on to predicting major ice ages. It's a pretty reliable factor. But shorter cycles are also crucial. They can amplify or weaken these effects, like the event that pierced through the Martian ice paint due to sudden warming, the related Dansgaard-Oeschger event. Survive. As we mentioned, age was the era of giant animals. When we say giant, we're not kidding. Some of the largest creatures weighed up to 4 is Bergman's rule. He described animals that can generate their own body heat, like mammals. The colder the environment, the bigger the body size, because larger mammals have a lower surface area to volume ratio. This helps them reduce heat loss. This might partly explain why the River Age evolved so many massive, awe-inspiring species. Large size is a common strategy, but the diversity of species at the time proved there is more than one way to achieve a goal. Let's start with the most famous one. He's the ferocious elephant. For most of us, the mammoth is a symbol of the Ice Age. A towering figure, a majestic silhouette marching through giant snowdrifts, seemingly unfazed by the freezing cold. But reality may be slightly different. Mammoths are actually not bigger than modern elephants. Bone measurements show their shoulder height is about 3.5 meters, while some male African elephants today can reach a height of 4 meters. Even though they're about the same height, they do have some crucial differences. The Mustang has a warm double coat of fur, with a thick undercoat and a longer outer layer of hair. Their body proportions are different too. Longer bodies with shorter legs. Biologists believe this is to help them graze on grass without having to bend over too much. Plus, they have a thick layer of fat, up to 9 centimeters thick, to keep warm, and small ears covered in fur to prevent heat loss. We tried hard to bring them back to life, but the mammoths eventually went extinct. However, they didn't all die out at the same time. The fact now accepted is, on Franklin Island, there was this badass horse-like herd, about 500 to 1,000 strong. They lived all the way back 4,000 years ago. That's even before the Great Pyramid of Giza was built. A whole 1,000 years later, mind you. Now, let's talk about some even weirder creatures. They're called carvers. Their name comes from their teeth, all carved up, because they've got these wide teeth with grooves, perfect for grinding tough vegetation. Great for munching on those hardy plants, you know? They're massive, lumbering creatures, weighing up to 2 tons, moving like elephants, with sturdy legs walking on the American continent. Their bodies are protected by huge shells, like a turtle shell, making them look like distant relatives of pufferfish. But they can't roll into a ball. Seeing how they look, you might think they move slowly. Recent studies have shown they carry most of their weight on their hind legs. They might even be able to stand on 2 feet. It makes you think of crazier scenarios, like a toothed beast standing up, using its fake tail to attack, or reaching for food in high places. It proves these creatures are not to be underestimated. The next creature might surprise you. Because their relatives are still around today, it's just what we've seen today. It's just the tip of the iceberg compared to what's in front of you, just scratching the surface. Late Pleistocene sloths include 4 major species, 27 trees, and an unknown number of species. They were once great dispersers, roaming the continent of America. As time went on, the size range of sloths increased. By the late Pleistocene, in the natural world, a group of creatures was born, known as the gigantic earthhugger, and the first known sloth fossil is the American earthhugger, estimated to weigh up to 3,800 kilograms. Compared to their ancestors, our modern sloths are like tiny cabins compared to big houses. Considering the weight of these earthhuggers, take a loss. The survival pressure they were facing at the time. Scientists speculate the groundhog burrows underground for warmth, or to escape the heat in the summer. Some believe it's to avoid predators. It really makes you wonder, what kind of animal would want to provoke them? Most likely a saber-toothed tiger or a giant short-faced bear. When you witness it with your own eyes, these huge and resilient creatures brave extreme weather conditions, facing giant predators, confronting changes in the population. What you're eagerly hoping to see, these creatures rely on their survival instincts, succeed in entering the next geological era. However, things are not as they seem. At the end of the Pleistocene era, they almost disappeared without a trace. Only in Australia and the Americas, 72% to 88% of large species went extinct. How did this happen? Why, over the past century, has this issue been fiercely debated? Some people believe natural climate change is to blame. With the arrival of advanced weaponry, the sea level is on the rise. They've cut off the road and the bridge. The ice caps are melting. And this is exactly what species migration needs. But this explanation isn't perfect. Another major theory was first proposed in the 1960s. He's leading us to the next big discovery. That's humanity for you. And right now, at this moment, your journey is about to witness a historic moment. You will lay eyes on our own ancestors for the first time. Homo sapiens evolved around 300, migrating out of Africa. More effort into it, too. Getting into activities beyond just surviving. Like cave art, for example. Becoming the way humans make sense of the world. Many of the images they created can still be seen today. In the late, called Clovis points. One point of contention is that within a few thousand years of Clovis people arriving in North America, giant animals went extinct for. The arrival of humans was likely the final straw that broke the camel's back. In the late Pleistocene, another mysteriously disappeared species were the Neanderthals. They vanished around 40,000 years ago. Neanderthals were the first batch of humans, surviving in the harsh environment of icy glaciers. They possess clever adaptations who outcompete them, or they were assimilated by us, assimilated by our larger population at the time. In fact, most peoples might be considered losers, but the long-standing image of them as savage, the image of being backwards, is unfair. Every new discovery allows us to appreciate the complex culture they left behind, brought about tremendous advancements, changed the course of Earth's history forever. This is exactly what you're here to witness. Even though this era is full of uncertainties, away from the Ice Age, back to the present, I believe you must also be deeply impressed by the diversity of life in that era. Left a lasting impression. Even though most of those creatures are now gone, they have become relics of history. But their bones, caves and tombs, still spark our curiosity, hinting at a world that once was, where for a time at least, humans lived alongside towering giants, our close relatives side by side, journeying together through that wild, primordial land. But maybe the more worrying issue is, will this situation happen again? We are still in the middle of an ice age. Is the next ice age approaching? The Henry incident we mentioned before happens about every 10,000 years, could lead to cooling. They occur when large amounts of ice are discharged into the ocean. Recent data shows, before these events occur, ocean warming is a common occurrence. That's what's causing the instability in the ice caps. We're seeing these signs right now. They could be a warning sign of the Henry event. If it really happens, it could trigger another cooling period, enough to set off another weapon. So when will the next ice age actually arrive? Maybe the answer to this question is no longer dictated by the Milankovitch cycle, going solo, just when we thought the Ice Age was ancient history. The warming caused by human activity, it's like an invisible hand, shifting this timeline into uncharted territory. If we were to face another Ice Age, we don't know which species would make it to the finish line, or if any would at all. In another era ruled by ice and snow, or if we'd be the ones left out in the cold. The species that adapts best to the inhabitants will there be.